Hello, welcome to City Hall this week. We begin with the results of an RTI International study of Durham Police Department's traffic stop data. The study was conducted at the police department's request in order to determine whether there was racial disproportionality in traffic stops.
A lot of organizations would have shied away from knowing the answer to that question, but the Durham Police Department asked us to look critically at their operations.
The study was based on traffic stop data from 2010 through 2015. To test for bias, RTI used what's called the veil of darkness method. This method is based on the assumption that officers have a diminished ability to observe the race and gender of a driver during periods of darkness.
Using this method, we analyze racial disproportionality by comparing the race of drivers stopped during daylight to the race of those stopped during darkness.
The study analyzed traffic stops that occur between 5:30 and 9 p.m. when it's light at some times of the year and dark at other times.
Overall, across the 5-year period, we did find evidence of racial disproportionality in traffic stops conducted by the DPD.
No evidence of racial disproportionality was found among female drivers.
The analysis also found that the relationship between lighting and driver demographics was conditional upon police assignment. We did not find evidence of racial bias among traffic stops conducted by the dedicated traffic units. However, black males were overrepresented during the daylight stops conducted by DPD's High Enforcement Abatement Team, or HEAT, and the patrol unit. For the High Enforcement Abatement Team, the odds that a stopped male driver was black were 44% higher during daylight than in darkness. And for the patrol unit, the odds that a stopped male driver was black were 17% higher during daylight than darkness. Importantly, the relationship between lighting and driver race was conditional upon year, with findings showing racial disproportionality decreasing over time. In the years 2014 and 2015, we found no evidence to suggest that black drivers were disproportionately represented in traffic stops conducted by the Durham Police Department.
Interim Chief Larry Smith says the study establishes a benchmark for the department.
This analysis also reveals that some of the changes we've put in place since 2014 may have begun to address some of the concerns raised. Since 2014, there is no evidence to suggest that black drivers were disproportionately represented in traffic stops. We believe the improvements are a result of the changes in our policies, procedures, and training that we've instituted in the past few years. This shows that we are willing to listen to our residents and make adjustments in our policing practices when necessary.
As part of the effort to maintain a strong partnership with the community, the department has taken additional measures to enhance police-community relations.
All officers have completed fair and impartial policing training, and the training is now included in basic law enforcement training curriculum for all new recruits. Officers have recently received verbal conflict and de-escalation training, and select personnel have been trained as trainers through the U.S. Department of Justice on procedural justice and police legitimacy.
RTI self-funded the study. As part of its research, the organization is also developing a free online tool that will allow law enforcement agencies to analyze their own traffic stop data. This tool will be available in a few weeks and will be used by the Durham Police Department. As Chief Smith mentioned, nearly all officers have taken part in verbal de-escalation training as one of the department's recent efforts toward improvement. One of those training sessions was held on March 22nd and was conducted by Harry Dolan, a former Raleigh police chief.
Well, verbal de-escalation is techniques and strategies that we employ to hopefully bring people down when we find them at their worst. You see, public safety, police officers, deputy sheriffs, we encounter people at their worst. They're upset, they're under the influence, oftentimes under the influence of alcohol, drugs, anger, rage, grief. Well, how do we de-escalate? And the first thing we're learning today is I can't debate with you. You can't debate with somebody and de-escalate them. So what we want our officers to do is deflect verbal abuse, because we get verbally abused. We want you to be the professional, not an amateur. Professionally deflect that, see if we can work to leave someone better than we found them at their worst.
As part of the training, officers learn communication skills that have been proven to help de-escalate volatile situations.
But what we're asking officers to do is look at it from a rhetorical perspective. Explain what you're doing. Know some human universals. You know, some of the human universals we focus on are, how we're all alike. I don't really go much into differences. How human beings are alike. We all want to be treated with dignity and respect. I want to know why you're here, officer. I want to know why someone's being arrested or why they're not being arrested. And I would like you to give me options rather than threats. If we talk that way and look at human universals, see the world through the eyes of others, which is empathy, oh, I think we can make great progress.
Dolan says officers are very well trained in police academy in verbal communications, but believes more training is needed later in their careers.
They need to have this refresher. We need to have drills. In order to make it to Carnegie Hall, you have to have practice. And that's what today is about. And we should incorporate this into use of force training, so that before we arrest somebody, if the situation presents itself and I have an opportunity, I'm going to explain why I'm arresting you. I'm going to say what's in your best interest. Would you comply with my lawful directive? And if somebody says no, so you're saying you'd rather be arrested. Let's just turn up the professional dial as much as we can so that we don't create any adrenaline flow in a negative way.
At this point, nearly all officers and some non-sworn employees have completed the de-escalation training. More progress is being made on Southside revitalization efforts. The City Council approved using up to $4.4 million on site preparation and infrastructure improvements for the second phase of development for the Lofts at Southside. The second phase will consist of 85 mixed-income rental units, with 58 of those units being made available to low-income individuals or families. More affordable housing will also be built in North Durham. The Durham Housing Authority is issuing nearly $20,000 in tax-exempt multifamily housing bonds to help fund the Briar Green apartments. The project will be located at 500 Danube Lane and will include 200 new apartments. All of the units will be made affordable to people with incomes at or below 60% of the area median income. A significant improvement project is moving forward for the North Durham Water Reclamation Facility. The control panel upgrades project includes new replacement blower and solids handling control panels and installing new control valves and actuators. It will also integrate the software associated with these to existing controls at the North Durham Water Reclamation Facility. The project is expected to cost nearly $2 million. Just over $2.3 million will be spent on engineering services for the Mist Lake Facility expansion project. The project will relocate the Water and Sewer Maintenance Division from the Public Works Operations Center to the Mist Lake Facility. It will also build a new laboratory facility at the South Durham Water Reclamation Facility. Both projects are expected to be completed over a 4-year period. That does it for City Hall this week. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find us on demand on Durham Television Network's webpage and on YouTube. Thank you for joining us. This has been a production of Durham Television Network.